What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to sportsworkreview.com. Welcome to another episode of Jammin with J Money. We appreciate everybody for watching. If you guys like the content, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I'm J Money. That's my guy Teddy Covers, and that's my guy Junior Browne. Today we're going to be recapping the NBA scrimmages that we saw yesterday and go over the NBA games that we have today. It's the last day of scrimmages before we get to the real deal. Junior, what's up, brother? Everything good with you? How was your weekend?
It was good. It's good, got some rest. Had an appointment yesterday. Sorry, I had to miss out. But you and Teddy had held it down. I was watching my phone and just ready to get. I'm excited for Thursday. Let's just cut to the chase. I just want Thursday to come. I'm sick of these scrimmages. They've been good. They've been a lot of fun. I'm not complaining about them, but we're trying to see these guys compete. We're trying to see these guys. And the more I think about it, I think the new seating, the 8 games to get the seating in order, there's a lot of movement that can happen. So I'm just excited for the NBA to just be back in full swing of things.
Exactly, and I must say, man, some of these games they have been pretty exciting. Teddy, what do you say? If you what did you think about yesterday? Everything cool with you? We had all right day yesterday, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm really glad. The single best thing we can do is give people good betting advice when like this line's going to move and it turns from a winner into a loser. So I was glad we were able to do that for people yesterday and get them on plus the points against the Lakers, which was very nice. Lakers win by 7. The closing line 2.5, and we were on the show. It was 9.5. We're like, get down now. So it's always nice when the advice works out the way that you want it to. Wasn't pretty basketball in any games yesterday, really. And Junior said he's excited about Thursday. I'm excited about Friday. Thursday, yeah, you got a couple of games. Friday, we got a card. So it's and tomorrow, of course, there's nothing. So tomorrow we'll take the day off. But Thursday and Friday, with the real game starting, these preseason scrimmages and from a handicapping angle, especially with no first half lines available. We do the best we can, but it's certainly not a time that I'm loading up and firing away, all cylinders going. I'll save that for later in the week.
Exactly. Like we told you guys yesterday, man, just kind of, you know what I'm saying, just trying to get back into the
Thursday and
into the
Friday
habit
with
of
the real
to
games.
the habit of it. What you say, Teddy?
No, that was just a replay of what I said. Somehow came through our earphones.
Oh, okay. Nah, but the Lakers, they end up getting it done, man, over the Wizards. I mean, what do you say? J.R. Smith looked pretty good. Dion Waiters looked pretty good out there. Obviously, they had their B team out there. They still got up about 12, 14 points. It was kind of weird there for a second, Teddy. But then, obviously, in the fourth quarter, Wizards still had some of their guys playing. Hachimura led the team with 19 points. J.R. Smith led the Lakers with 20 points. So him and Dion Waiters, like I say, man, edibles or not, the boys come over there balling, Junior. I know the Kings, they end up getting it done. I told you guys on the show that I feel like there was possibly a look-ahead game for the Clippers. Even though these scrimmages, some things are just pretty much common sense. Obviously, that fourth quarter, the Kings outscored them 33-19. They hung around in the whole game pretty much. If you watched it, and then fourth quarter, they pretty much just took over, end up winning that game. There was another one where I told you guys, hey, the Kings plus the points might be the side to go. And that one, the Jazz end up getting it done 112-107 versus the Nets. If you watch that game, obviously the Jazz pretty much led from wire to wire fourth quarter. The Nets still had some of their main players in. Kind of hurt them there. One of their players, I think Karuk's there, kind of got a little injury there. So he possibly might be out for their first game. I know he had a little hip injury there, but they end up getting the backdoor cover there. Some guys that had the under there. If you got it early at the 220, 219 and a half, you cash it there. End up closing at 218 and a half though. So if you got on it, took the over, it was 218 and a half. Damn good job by some of you guys. The Magic and the Nuggets, man, the Nuggets, they had Murray starting and Barton come back yesterday, but we told you guys on the show, the Magic, I didn't think they was going to go 0-3 in these scrimmages. This is technically their little home court. The Magic end up getting it done. It's no one. Hey, I say the Magic might end up getting done for Nuggets there. Nuggets look terrible, man. They don't look focused at all. I know it's just a scrimmage, but still, you got to come out a little better than that, man, versus the Magic, but they didn't. And the Pelicans get it done over the Bucks there, man, 124-103. They end up smack. I remember remember we was talking about that when Teddy was kind of, you know what I'm saying it was kind of scared to fade the Bucks. I said, if it was any play I'm taking on this, it's going to be Pelicans. And, I mean, they came out there and they never gave up versus the Bucks, Teddy. And there's something that I really want to watch closely because, man, it's going to be the Pelicanos on Thursday. And that's for damn sure, Teddy. What you think about that game? Did you watch that one, the last game of the night?
So I watched a bunch of NBA yesterday. Clearly, if you had the opportunity to make first half plays, which we don't, Milwaukee was the play for the first half. You know, they got outscored by 24 after the break. You know, it was garbage time for the Bucks. You know, they came to play for a half, and that's all they wanted. We didn't see that in the second half. Certainly, that was the case. You know, I mean, Utah controlled the game against Brooklyn. You know, fourth quarter, not so much. You know, yeah. So we're not seeing coaches put a whole lot of emphasis into winning these games necessarily. There may be one team that violates that rule today. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
Exactly. Junior, I know you was busy yesterday. Did you happen to catch any games? Anything stood out to you yesterday?
No, I just saw the highlights. I didn't actually watch any of the games. What stood out to me was the Nuggets. I'm worried about the Nuggets. I mention it almost every time we talk about them. I don't like their focus. They don't look like they're a team that's going to be dangerous. And again, I don't want to disrespect the Nuggets. I'm not saying they can't win playoff series, but what I'm saying is they look kind of lackadaisical. They don't look as hungry as they should. They've never won anything. They've never accomplished anything. Why wouldn't they look hungry? And they're a very young team. So I just didn't like their attitude yesterday in the game. I haven't liked their attitude for a while because if you guys remember before the break, that's kind of how they were playing. Kind of lackluster. Their efforts were up and down, and that's going to be a problem. And I think they're also one of the teams that's going to be hurt the most by lack of home court advantage, in my opinion, in the playoffs.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and get to today's games, man. That's what you guys are here for. That's what y'all here for. Grizzlies, first game of the day, we got Grizzlies versus the Heat. Grizzlies come in losing both of their games. We know they got a bunch of young guys over there. Is this bubble life starting to get to them, man? What's up, guys? See you guys in the chat. What's up, Jeff Dean, Trevino, Sloan, Game Theory? What's up, Joe Ramirez? Got Noah in here, Jerry, all the same guys in here. We had 150 in the chat yesterday. What's up, Triple Z, Dina, Ulysses, Hayes, all you guys. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and hit the like button. What you guys think about this first game? Junior, I know you're ready to talk about the game. So what you think about this first one, Grizzlies versus Heat?
From a handicapping standpoint, I think I would kind of favor the Grizzlies. They haven't really looked that good. Not to say that they haven't looked good. I think the problem for them is in these games, the guys that are not really going to be part of the rotation for all the teams are the guys that are kind of finishing games. And I think that for the Grizzlies, they're just not deep. So in the fourth quarter, they got a lot of guys that are just not that good finishing out the games, and that's why they're just not getting W's. If you just look at the way that their starters are playing, starters have been playing actually pretty good. So I think the Grizzlies might want to finish strong just to get some morale, because no matter what, losses are losses, and they just don't want to go into the seeding games having just lost every single scrimmage. So I think just from that perspective, I kind of favor the Grizzlies in this specific matchup in this game.
And I agree 100% with what you said there, Junior. In fact, there's not a lot that intrigues me on today's card. It looks like Miami's coming to play. Jimmy Butler sat the last game. He's going to go tonight. Bam Adebayo, who's been out, he's likely to go. So they're going to have, Myers Leonard, Duncan Robinson, and Nunn, and those two guys in their starting lineup for sure. And Miami is certainly, with Butler back in, a team that we would expect to play with effort and energy and focus in a way that the team perhaps like Denver hasn't been playing the last couple of days. But this has been all dogs all the time so far here in these preseason scrimmages. Yesterday, the only favorite to cash against the closer was the Lakers, and that was a 7-point line move. If you got it early, all 5 dogs cashed yesterday. Not a spot where I'm excited about laying points. And the fact that the Grizzlies are 0-2, not that big a deal. But when you're fighting for a playoff spot, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see the Memphis guys who've been playing only in the first half or haven't been playing down the stretch. Maybe they come back in the fourth quarter here for that stretch run and try to get the Grizz a victory. If I'm playing a game today, it'd probably be Memphis plus. There's one other that stood out at least a little bit. It's not yet in pocket for what it's worth.
You don't have it in your pocket yet, but the way I was looking at this game, man, I can't say I was looking towards the Heat side. It's not necessarily with anything against the Grizzlies. Obviously, they are 0-2 in these scrimmages. I still don't. I mean, they are still scrimmages, and it just didn't seem like. I mean, their defense hasn't been there. We know against the Heat, if your defense isn't there, and the Heat just haven't looked particularly well either. Two teams, really, in my opinion, I really feel like it could go either way. I'm not really running to bet any of these favors. I really feel like taking the points is really the most comfortable, you know what I'm saying, decision going with these scrimmage games. But with this one, if they can't stop the Heat, they can't stop guys like Tyler Hero, like you say. You got Bam Adebayo coming back today. You got Jimmy Butler playing in this game, which last game they almost won, even without Butler. They got a deep bench. You got guys like Tyler Hero out here playing late minutes. Derrick Jones Jr., who are really, they could be starters for this team over at time. I mean, if certain guys went out. So that's the only thing that scares me. The Heat bench is a lot. It's like it 10 times. I mean, they got a couple players from the Grizzlies. You got Crowder and Iguodala over there playing minutes for the Heat, who are missing from the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies really are missing Crowder, in my opinion. And they got Winslow, but now he's hurt. So, I mean, they got a lot of people that's hurt. Their bench is just not good. I mean, you got Brandon Clark come off the bench. Other than that, I mean, maybe Tyus Jones, but when the bench comes in, I think they're going to get smashed. So that's really only my assessment. But maybe the Grizzlies do go all out for the win here. You never know. But, I mean, they are holding on to the playoff spot, so you might want to stay fresh here, in my opinion. But next game of the day, we got the Raptors versus Suns. I see the line going down as I'm talking about it. I just saw it's open at 5.5. It was just 5. Now it's going down to 4.5. And I was kind of scratching my head last night, wondering if some of these veteran teams may rest some starters here. Teddy, you have any inside info on this one? You think the Raptors going full go here, or you thinking they may be resting somebody? That's why the line's going down.
One would think so, but when it comes to quality depth, I mean, Toronto's been there all year. You know, when we think about what the Raptors have been able to accomplish over the first 3 quarters of the season, despite numerous key injuries for that squad, you know, depth isn't a problem for Toronto, and defense isn't a problem for Toronto. So they're not, I mean, I'm not betting against the sharp money here. All right, there's clearly something coming, you know, that is pushing people towards the Suns in this one. But I mean, you don't want to compare it to the regular season, but I mean, these teams played twice the regular season. It wasn't close. You look at the rosters; it's not close. One team plays defense, one doesn't. Devin Booker's not in any kind of form. You know, it's not like the Suns are a spurt team. The Raptors are a 48-minute team. I'm not laying it, but it's the only way I would play it. I don't want Phoenix. I don't want Phoenix at all right now.
What you thinking on this one, Junior? You think if what you say? Like, say if they rest Lowry, Siakam, maybe Gasol, a couple of key guys, key starters. I'm just saying mindset. In my opinion, coming in, they kind of saying they don't really care about the game. We know the Suns, they've been playing hard. They might care a little bit more. I mean, like you say, well, if they putting in some guys. Put like this, what if they're putting in guys at the late in the fourth quarter and they're trying to win? That's the whole thing about betting on these scrimmages. You're trying to figure out which team is, you know what I'm saying, actually going to try to win the game. And so it can be tricky. Sometimes better just to lay off. But if you can find some good info, you never know. What you think, Junior? Because I remember you saying Raptors going to win all these scrimmages.
Yeah, I just think that's the way the Nick Nurse coaches. I just think that's the way these players kind of play. Everybody on the Raptors rotation knows that if they look good in practice or in these scrimmages, Nick Nurse is going to give you minutes. Like you can get minutes if you're like a 8th or 9th or 10th man on the Raptors. So I just don't think that those guys would ever play any game other than 100%. And I just think that for the Raptors, you're going to see guys like probably like Norman Powell in the fourth quarter and like guys that actually play rotation minutes. You're going to see those guys in the fourth quarter. I just think those guys are better than the Suns guys. I agree with Teddy. I know Teddy has a point he wants to make right now, so I'll cut it short. But I agree with Teddy in the sense that the only thing that has me even thinking the Suns is the sharp money. There's just obviously a reason that the money's going that way, that the line is going that way, right? So there's something that I don't know, so I would stay away from it. But if I had to put my own money on it, it would be Raptors or nothing. Sorry, Teddy, go ahead.
I had to find out why the money's coming. So here's the quote. Okay. Toronto's has 3 days to rest in preparation for the Lakers on Saturday, but the Raps seem to be back in rhythm in the first two, meaning they can afford to prioritize rest in the final scrimmage. Could that mean we get an extended look at O'Shea Brissett, DeJuan Hernandez, Malcolm Miller, and Paul Watson? Those are 4 guys I don't want on the floor if I'm laying points with Toronto in the fourth quarter. So
this is what I say to that. Though.
We found it.
What I say to
the opinion for the Raptors is come and gone.
What I say to that is that they're still going to have rotation guys out there on the floor because all the guys that you named, their best case scenario is being a guy on the bench wearing a uniform that claps when there's a highlight. That's their best case scenario. There's too many guys on the Raptors already get minutes. You're not cracking that rotation. You're just getting a spot on the squad and a paycheck in your bank account. That's what you're trying to get. But I get your point.
Sure, but for the purpose of a preseason game, that's where these guys get their minutes, is in a preseason finale. So there's a decent chance we could see the end of the Raptors bench.
In my opinion, I don't lay points here. I just don't. And like I said, even looking at it from last night's standpoint, it's Suns or nothing for me in this particular game. It's just the only way I'm looking at it. You got to keep it in the standpoint that these are scrimmages. You have to look at it exactly like an NFL preseason game. It's not necessarily the team against this team. It's pretty much this B team against this B team. You look at the bottom of the bottom, who's going to be playing harder at the end of the game. That's where you can get some share. We saw it plenty yesterday, even with the Bucks. I mean, they just weren't locked in. They didn't really care about the game. It's the last scrimmage. It's going to be some money spots, man. Suns are nothing for this better. Let's get to the next game. We got Spurs and Pacers in this one. We got 0-2 versus 2-0 here, but I mean, the Spurs, their defense looked terrible. The offense, the turnovers, it's just terrible, man. I'm not even looking at this. I ain't even look too much in because I wouldn't even look at towards betting the Spurs here as just Pacers or nothing. Junior, what you think, man? What you think in this one?
It'd have to be Pacers or nothing. I don't know what's going on with the Spurs. What is it? 22 straight years in the playoffs. That's done. So the Spurs basically have 8 games. Well, this scrimmage and 8 regular season games to figure out who they're going to have on the roster next year and start making some moves. For the first time in 2 decades, they're going to have a high draft pick, and the Spurs have been able to make the most out of really bad draft picks. Like when I say bad draft picks, I'm talking about in terms of the position that they pick. They're going to get a high draft pick for one, so I'm already going to call it and say they're going to get the steal of the draft because they're picking so high. But there's no way that they're making the playoffs. So it's basically, these scrimmages in those 8 games. That being said, it's kind of disappointing to see that they're still not even really playing that well. They're just not a talented team right now. So there's no way I could look to having money on the Spurs. So I'm saying all that to say I'd stay away from the Spurs completely. They're just not a bet on team right now.
And I just want to say something real quick, Teddy. And scrimmage and like preseason, it's always something. The 0-2 versus 2-0. The 0-2 does usually have the upper hand. They're gonna try to win one game. Be interesting to see if some Pacers rest Oladipo that played the first 2 games. Will he rest? Will they rest some guys? Will Brogdon and Oladipo rest here? Could very well happen. Teddy, what you think?
Can I say something, Jay, real quick though before where Teddy goes? I just think that the reason why I would stay away from the Spurs here, they don't really have a front court right now. Everybody in their front court is injured. I just think the Pacers have such an advantage in the front court in this scenario that I would just stay away from the Spurs personally.
And with the Spurs' problems in the front court, their back court's been awful. DeRozan has yet to reach double digits in either game. The combination of White, Derek White and Lonnie Walker and DeJounte Murray, 17 turnovers the last 2 games. And from all indications, Pop is trying to get, quote, develop the young guys, which that's always an expression I look for in NFL preseason because the coach who wants to develop the young guys, that's your bet against coach. Okay. That's the team you bet against. That's literally the quote I'm looking for. And that this team's not showing up in the second half of these games. So it's Indiana or pass. But, without Sabonis already, the Pacers have not looked. They've been okay. They haven't looked good to me. They haven't looked in rhythm. I haven't been impressed with Indiana in these scrimmages. And I'm not excited about laying points. So I know I don't want San Antonio and the Pacers laying on with the Pacers is not something excited. So a pretty easy pass for me on this one.
Clear pass, in my opinion, man. Unless you get some insight, unless you see some like, I don't know. It's a clear pass, man. Unless you get some late lineup news, man. Let's get the next game. One I think real interesting. Thunder versus Blazers here. It's another one where I'll let you guys go first. Junior, what you like here, my guy?
Kind of like the Blazers. I think the Thunder. I don't see why you would play Chris Paul any significant minutes in this game. And speaking of Chris Paul, I think Chris Paul looks really good right now. I think that rest really benefited Chris Paul. When was the last time Chris Paul went into the playoffs healthy? Long time ago. That hasn't happened for him recently. So I think the Thunder could be kind of tricky when these games restart and when the playoffs start. So I don't think Chris Paul is going to play that much. I think Steven Adams probably not going to play that much because he's had some injury issues this season. And he's just been injury prone really through a lot of his career anyways. So those two not playing a lot. I just think that I would stay away from the Thunder. And on the flip side, I think Portland's still trying to figure things out. Yusuf Nurkic looks like he's ready to go right now. Like he looks like he hasn't missed any time. So you got Nurkic rolling. Whiteside came back in the last game, so you got that little 1-2 punch. Not to say that I expect to see them on the court together, but I just think that at the 5 spot, they're pretty solid for 48 minutes, right? Because as much as I don't like Whiteside the player, against anyone else's backups, he's dominating that situation. So I just think that they're really deep right now. I think they want to get their guys rolling, and I don't think that they have the way they played in the first half of the season. Why would they be giving anyone rest right now? They're trying to improve and get rolling and get hot so that they can catch Memphis. You rest when you deserve rest. They don't deserve rest based on what we saw in the first half of the season. So if the Portland Trailblazers are resting people, I would be concerned about that personally.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the sense that they're going to rest anyone, but I haven't gotten the sense that winning the game matters at all. And it's about getting the guys some minutes in the first half, and then the second half, it's whoever's going to get some playing time. And that's kind of been the case for each of OKC's first 2 scrimmages, where they didn't lead at halftime in either game. I think they led by a couple points against Boston, but then it was the second half where they pulled away and dominated. Same story last time out, fourth quarter. Scrubs versus Scrubs. OKC's got the deep bench and the guys who are making shots, and that's kind of been the case for the Thunder all year long, is that their bench has been extraordinarily deep. They've been able to get contributions from up and down the roster, and I trust their depth. The Blazers' star power is really, Zach Collins in that mix in the front court as well was a huge name that wasn't there for the first half of the season. Portland could be primed to make a run at Memphis and company for that number 8 seed, but I haven't gotten the sense that they're looking at this game as a tune-up. And that is clearly reflected in the point spread. I haven't gotten the sense that this is more like, this isn't a tune-up for the regular season. This is, let's get some guys some minutes and all of that. I haven't gotten the sense that the Blazers have any interest or concern on whether they win or lose tonight.
Got you.
But what's the line, by the way, guys?
The way I'm looking at this game,
I don't even know what the line is, by the way. Who's the favorite?
OKC 3.5, 219.5.
Yeah, OKC 3.5. I'd have to agree with you, Junior. I do think that we would probably see maybe some limited minutes for the older players. You got to keep in mind that Chris Paul is kind of up there in age. Steven Adams been banged up all year. Even though when the last 4, so these 2 teams have played 4 times this year, and Steven Adams played 3 of them. Every time that Whiteside faced Steven Adams, he's absolutely shut him down. He's had less than 10 points and less than 10 boards each time. And it's not, you can't. It's just a scrimmage, but I have to go and look at that. I just had to look see how, because Steven Adams has looked a lot better. I mean, even though I don't think he's going to play a lot, even if he does, Whiteside has seemed to shut him down every single time they play. And you look at the bench, obviously the Thunder has so they have not a great bench, but they have probably a better bench. Or see, their top three guards are the reason why they dominate. And I feel like if they play less minutes and it is battle of the bench, I feel like the Blazers may go after this one a little bit more, seeing the fact that they are 0-2. They do want to get a little mojo going on. You have a Thunder team that's 2-0. They had a huge comeback win the last game, which really Philly just had like this terrible team out there, and they come all the way back and come back from 24, which is pretty crazy.
Jay.
I'm not saying they can't do it again, but I just think you may see some guys resting for the Thunder. I think the Blazers will go for this one a little bit more. I would have to take the dog in this one. What you got, Junior?
Sorry to interrupt you because you said the Thunder came back. Let's take that win with a massive, huge, boulder-sized grain of salt, in the sense that Anthony Roberson hit back-to-back threes for them to win that game. When does that really ever happen? He's one of the worst shooters in the NBA, so that was a pretty fluky win, to say the least.
Yeah, they earned their win, though, Junior. I was watching their game, and when I saw them come back with the momentum, not to harp on it too much, but they came back and earned their win. The two threes that they hit was because of all the momentum that they had. I mean, I had to give it to them. They came back and won that game fair and square. I saw it happening. That's why I'm like, let me flip to this. When they cut it down to about 14 points, 12 points, say, let me watch this. 7 points, 5 points, 4. And then it was within a bucket for about 2 minutes, and then they got over the hump, and they deserved to win that game. It was a big morale boost, but I think that's all the more reason why they take their foot off the brake in this game, in my opinion, because of their win. And they got some big games coming up. So, I mean, it's just the way I look at it. I think the Blazers are going for it a little bit more. They got to get back in the mojo. We don't know if Dame's going to play, though. He said out the last game he had some inflammation about his foot. I need to see if he's going to play. And I think Nazir Little is out of the concussion protocol as well, so he should be in. If the Blazers are full go, I think they're going to win this game. I think you might see the minutes get obviously ramped up a little bit, but I did see the Thunder say that they may ramp up their guys' minutes as well. So it's very possible. I just want to see if the Thunder, I think it's very likely that they may sit Chris Paul and Steven Adams here. That's the only thing I'm saying. But we got 2 more games, guys, that we're going to get to. Teddy, anything that you want to say, finish up with that one? I saw you had something.
I went through OKC, Portland. It's not one that I'm particularly excited about. And I have nothing to add to what I already said. Thank you.
Got you. Let's get to the next one. Celtics versus Rockets, man. It was pretty interesting to see. It only opened at 1.5 here. It's up to 2.5. Quick. I mean, that makes sense. Celtics. I mean, if they playing all their guys, it's matchup against matchup. This is a matchup where possibly Enes Kanter could even shine. Theis won't look too bad here against the Rockets. I think it's a small ball lineup, so we'll see here. Tatum seemed like he's still getting the groove. Jaylen Brown's been in the groove. Teddy, what you got on this one? Any looks on this one?
So this one might be worth an underlook, and here's why. All right. The Suns scored 27 fast break points against the Celtics the other night. Twice down. There was twice in the first quarter alone that the team didn't hustle back. After the game, Brad Stevens talking about what he thought of the bad transition defense. Stevens, is that you're talking to the reporter? Is that your word? Bad? The reporter in public, yes. Stevens, well, whatever word you were going to use, that's what I thought of it. One would think that the Celtics are going to put a little bit more emphasis on transition defense in this game, which tells me that they're going to slow down the pace a little bit. And if you're putting emphasis on transition defense, you're not sending extra guys at the rim for offensive putbacks. It makes a big difference from a total standpoint. When you find a quote like that, where the coach is legitimately displeased with a key component of a team's performance, the way to bet on that, the way to make money off of that, is you look at the total in the next game. And of course, anytime you're talking about a Rockets game, you're talking about a total that is, fairly high, 226.5. I like the under in this one. I don't think Houston's going to get the transition buckets, and I'm convinced the Celtics are going to do everything they can to play at a slower pace tonight than what they played earlier in the week. Under 226.5.
What you got, Junior? What you think about that?
I just think this is like a real 50-50 game. I wouldn't really This is a stay away for me. I think that anything could really happen in this game. I agree with something Teddy did say, though, that Brad Stevens looked really upset after the game. I think small ball versus small ball lineup. I kind of like the Celtics' chances versus the Rockets, if I'm going to be honest with you, because the Celtics, you just know that they're going to play defense. I don't know that the Rockets are going to play defense. I know they can score, but the Celtics can score too. The Celtics got a lot of good players. And if you're going, okay, yeah, the Rockets' top two are better than the Celtics' top two, but isn't the Celtics' top four better than the Rockets' top four? I think so. So I don't know. I just think that in this situation, small ball versus small ball, I kind of favor the team that I at least know is going to play some defense.
Exactly, and that's why I said I don't know if I'm going to take their top two of those because who was the Celtics top two? They don't really have it. It's really a collective
Browne and
thing.
Tatum.
And the Rockets more of a, it's just them two. And if one of them off, and if Harden kind of be on some old stuff sometimes. The last game he was on, but before this, we don't know what we're going to get from Harden. We don't know if he's going to play defense or not. We don't know if the Beard's going to be going to the left, going to the right. We don't know. So if it's, you asking me if I had a free bet on it, man, I'm taking the Celtics. If they taking this game even just a little bit serious. And my guy Junior said something the last time we talked about the Rockets. We never know if they care in a regular season game. This is a scrimmage. So when I said, oh, man, I got to go in. I got to put something on the Raptors here. My guy Junior got me looking at it a total different way. But it'd be Celtics and I understand the move up from 1.5 to 2.5. I mean, no, it's still a scrimmage. Ben McLemore has been coming off the bench balling here. So, I mean, I would like to say the Celtics has a lot better bench than the Rockets. But, I mean, they have some guys that can ball just if they're hitting their shots. It's named the Rockets. If they're hitting their shots, they're going to look like one of the better teams in the NBA, like they contend for a championship. When they're missing, oh, boy, it gets ugly. And they don't want to play no defense when they're missing as well. So, that's about it on that one. So you like the under, right, Teddy? You saying the under 226.5 official? It's in your pocket, Teddy. I gotta hear it.
I don't have anything in my pocket yet, but I expect again, the two that stood out to me was Memphis plus maybe and this under maybe. I haven't bet either one yet. I wouldn't be shocked at both. And again, preseason week, I'm not loading up on these games. But I expect I'll have both for a half unit tonight.
Right. Yeah. If it's me, man, I kind of like this, especially if you saying I hadn't looked into the Bryson, but you say he pissed. He pissed after a win. I know Kemba came back and had like 10 minutes last game. He might get ramped up to about 15 minutes. We'll see. Once it starts, I like to wait till the lineups announced. Before just wait till the last minute, man. But yeah, I'm thinking about the Celtics are. That's definitely on deck. That's for sure. Fading that beard, baby. Fading that beard. Westbrook is my guy, though. Westbrook is my guy. But one more game. We got the Mavs versus 76ers, man. Should be a dandy. Junior. What you think here, man? The line 1.5 here. Pretty much whoever gonna win the game. It ain't pick, but 1.5 favored by 76ers. Are they gonna pitch it away again? When they sit them starters, them boys don't look too good out there. I'm just saying.
Do you guys know if Joel Embiid's playing?
He didn't play the last game, so I
know.
What you got, Teddy?
I have no official word on Embiid yet. No official word on a bunch of guys yet for this game.
Exactly. Later games today.
No Embiid, no Sixers. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So I would kind of stay away from this game because the Sixers have a lot of questions that they need to answer before this regular season is going to start because this new experiment with Ben Simmons seems to be working, but we need to see that work when the games count before we could really make a final decision on whether or not this has been the right decision. But Jay Money said something perfect, and I think that kind of sums up the 76ers. Why did it take Brett Browne so long to figure this out in the first place? That he needed to get Ben Simmons closer to the basket and in a situation where he can help Embiid be a better player. You know what I'm saying? There's too much Embiid away from the basket, and I feel like they need to figure that out. As for the Mavs, Jay already knows how I feel about his hometown boys. I think they could be sneaky in the playoffs. I think they could send somebody home early in the playoffs. I think they can move up before the playoffs even start and get a better position going in. So I think that the Mavs are a bet-on team once these games start. As for this scrimmage, I feel like it's a 50-50. I'm just staying away from it. I have no pick either way.
Gotcha.
You
Yeah, this
see,
is a tough one, Teddy.
the Mavs are coming back without, in my mind, three guys that don't affect the point spread at all, but really affect their depth. You know, Dwight Powell's not back, Jalen Brunson's not back, Courtney Lee's not back. None of those guys went to Orlando, and that's the type of depth that you want to win playoff series. Now, Porzingis didn't play the night. I just found a quote that Porzingis is expected. He practiced yesterday. He's expected to go this evening. Trey Burke missed the other day. He's expected to go this evening as well. Kid Gilchrist, not likely to play. Rick Carlisle saying that he's still, quote, a ways off physically. For the Sixers, the info I'm finding, Sixers without Embiid and Raul Neto last time against the Thunder. Glenn Robinson III played just 7 minutes. They had a hip pointer and left that game. All three of those guys practiced yesterday, and there's a chance that they could all play tonight. Philly may be fully healthy going into the ball game. So if the Sixers are fully healthy and everybody plays tonight, and Dallas has some depth issues that are perhaps a concern, maybe Philly's worth a look. But that's one of those deals you want to wait until we find out for sure. That's not a 9:30 in the morning play. That's let's follow Twitter all day and see what we find.
Got you. Yeah, it'd be a tough one. Like I say, I mean, I think the Mavs bench is a lot better than the 76ers, just if they're going to ramp up the minutes for the starters. Are they going to build up a big lead again? But we saw it's not always safe, man. But I mean, I like the Mavs bench, man. Like, I mean, obviously having him out is it's gonna be tough. But I mean, we got Trey Burke. He used to play for the 76ers. Might be a little extra added motivation there, Teddy. He came from the 76ers there, man. That boy Burke a baller. You give him a chance. Boy got that little crossover there, boy. I'm telling you. Nah, but them the games for today, guys. Honestly, I mean, I was looking at some stuff, but unless I get some real good info or somebody sitting in or out, I might just stay off. Like I said, I was looking at some game. I had some leans. I was leaning towards the Heat, the Suns, the Blazers, the Celtics, but that's about it. I mean, like I said, the Celtics, they are on deck. I see they have full go. Everybody going. I probably will get a Celtics a little J Money sprinkle, but could see some good info out there. We do have some games starting here about an hour and a half, so we'll see, man. If we get some info, some lineups coming out. What you got, Junior? We're gonna wrap them up. Let them know where they can find you at. Anything you looking at, leans?
Nah, man, I'm just ready. I'm ready for Thursday. Can we just get some games that count before I invest money? Like I said before, all this time off gave me a chance. I'm sure gave you guys a chance just to go over the plays that you made in the first half of the season. Just try to cut down on the reckless plays where you just assume you know what's going to happen and you just don't put enough thought into it. That's kind of why I just stay away from these scrimmages. But I'm ready. I'm definitely ready to go for Thursday. And like Teddy said, Friday's a full slate. Gonna have a lot of money down. Let's get this money, Jay. That's your last name. Let's get it.
Oh, we're getting it. You know what we on, Junior. We're gonna talk about it on Thursday. Teddy, I got a question for you. Real quick, WNBA. Real quick. It's only 3 games today. If I were to make it bad, I would be looking revenge game. Jay, he trying to come out. He trying to peek out the edge. You know what I'm saying? How the little baby be little bird be trying to peek out. He trying to peek out, man. He want to take the Sun today. I try and tell him, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. They lost some players. They lost Courtney Williams, one of the biggest players, but still got Alyssa Thomas over here. What you think? Revenge game, Jay? Or revenge game, Teddy? What you think? You think the Sun gets some revenge over Washington Missy without Adela Dunn, Teddy? Or anything you looking at WNBA?
No, so look, I've never been a WNBA guy. I know guys that cap it. I've never been one of those guys, so I can't really help you. I can help you with Trey Burke. Because Trey Burke has played for the Sixers, the Knicks, the Mavs, and the Wizards, and the Jazz in the last 5 years. He's got revenge against every team. I'm not worried about Trey Burke all of a sudden going in there. But WNBA, I'm sorry, it's not something that I personally cap, so I can't really help you with it.
Got you. Yeah, Trey Burke ain't a difference maker, but they still got JJ Barea, still got Steph Curry over there. If Luka, as long as Luka playing, they always got a chance. Porzingis in there today. You got Boban coming off the bench. DeLon Wright. They got ballers over there. They got 4 different choices of point guards. I'm taking Mavs bench over 76ers bench any day. That's just my opinion. But like I said, y'all got my lanes, man. We will definitely see you guys on Thursday, man. Make sure y'all guys visit SBR.com for all the picks, all the line shop on all the odds, man. Y'all hit the like button and subscribe if y'all like the content, man. We appreciate y'all for watching Jammin and J Money. We out.